Now, The Hunt Palmer Show.
Yes! I feel like I've been waiting for this my entire life.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Jolly good fun. Jolly good.
Locking down the middle of the day.
America's favorite daytime fun show.
Live from the Raising Cane studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
Hour 2, Tuesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Immense Networks Cloud IT Management. They're online at immense.net, immense.net. I want to remind you, as I do every single Tuesday, to come out and see us. Sit court to table tonight, 8 o'clock, sports trivia. We'll be cranking things up. Have you out of there by like 9:15, so not a late night, but we'll always have a lot of fun there at court to table. Start things up at 8. You can win court to table gift cards. You can win time on the pickleball courts. They got awesome drinks. The food at court to table is awesome. So if you want to come and eat dinner, drink some drinks, watch some sports on TV, and win some gift cards, it's always a great time. So hope to have you out. You can come by yourself. Bring a team. You can come with 6 people. You can come with 2 people, whatever the case may be, and test your sports knowledge. Tonight, 8 o'clock at Court to Table in Burbank. We're there every single Tuesday. Hope to see you out there this evening. Sharief Ishaq will be along in 30 minutes. He's here talking some Saints. We're just texting back and forth with Sharief. He's gonna make me go on his news broadcast. How dare he? I get him on. He probably sits out 3 a year, so we'll call it 49 times a year we have him on. He has the audacity to get me on his show twice a year. Inconvenience me with that. We'll inconvenience him. Coming up in 30 minutes, he'll talk some Saints with us. We appreciate him for doing that every single Tuesday. Let's talk some Tigers right now, and the teams that LSU will play right now. This is not necessarily a snapshot of 2026. This is a projection of the program over the next 2 seasons. So keep in mind, as I did in the first hour with the Saints segment, that there needs to be a steady dose of salt here applied, right? Nobody this time last year was projecting LSU for 2 years with Brian Kelly getting fired at Halloween and then turning around and hiring Lane Kiffin. Like that wasn't in anybody's June power rankings for LSU. So we understand that this is not to be taken as gospel. It's just a discussion point, right? But I wanted to look at where they ranked LSU because these power rankings on ESPN.com are the top 68 in the country. And it starts at the very bottom with Boston College at 68 and goes all the way to number 1. And I wanted to look at where they have LSU and also where they have LSU's SEC opponents for this year. Because we know that things get so wild in the offseason. Quarterbacks transfer all over the place. Players jump in the portal left and right. Signing classes that looked great on paper from high school are dismantled a year into them. Coaches are hired and fired. Coordinators move. Like, things happen that are going to throw this all into whack. But I just want a sense of what ESPN thinks about who LSU is going to play this year and then what they think of LSU. And so I start with the Tigers. And they've got LSU, in terms of the 68 teams in the power leagues, 8th. Number 8 in the country in program power rankings over the next 2 seasons. They love the quarterback situation. Said LSU landed Arizona State transfer Sam Leavitt, who led the Sun Devils to a Big 12 title and a CFP appearance. Leavitt entered last season as an NFL prospect and has 36 career touchdowns, only 11 picks. He has junior eligibility, but LSU's also got Husan Longstreet and Landon Clark there as well. They like LSU up front on the offensive defensive line. They also like the roster management, saying the school's offseason spending spree included hiring Lane Kiffin, an ambitious portal push that produced ESPN's number 1 portal class. They mentioned Ty Benefield, Jace Brown, Trey Wilson, Trey Brown, and the return of Whit Weeks and Trey Green as real keys in terms of roster management. They love the star power, Trey Green being chief among those, but also mentioned Leavitt, Prince William Mielen, and Jordan Seaton, who could command national honors. And LSU swung big and landed its target in Lane Kiffin, who helped Ole Miss to its first CFP appearance. Charlie Weiss is a great offensive coordinator, brought with him Joe Cox, Chris Kiffin, and you retained Blake Baker. Also, recently brought in Ed Ogeron, which they mentioned in the blurb here. So they like LSU where they sit from a program stability standpoint. And that makes sense because we feel like there's a pretty good chance, and I know who I'm talking about. I'm well aware who I'm talking about here. We feel like there's a pretty good chance Lane Kiffin's here for the next 2 years, don't we? Feel like there's a pretty good chance of that. If he goes to the NFL next year, surely he won a national championship, right? So I think he's going to be here for 2 years. I think that's a reasonable thing to put LSU at number 8. But I was curious about LSU's opponents this year and where they rank on this metric. The best opponent in terms of program stability for the next 2 seasons on LSU's schedule in 2026 is a home game the Tigers will play against Texas. They've got the Longhorns at number 3 nationally. Incidentally, Notre Dame is number 1 on this list. But Texas number 3. The second most stable program that LSU will play this year, also coming to Tiger Stadium, is Texas A&M. ESPN ranks them as the number 9 program in terms of stability and staying power. The third best program LSU will play this year is also coming to Tiger Stadium. It's Alabama at number 10. So 3 of the top 10, Texas number 3, A&M number 9, Bama at number 10, coming to Tiger Stadium this year. Now, the next team on LSU's schedule on this list is number 12. 4 of the top 12 LSU will play this year. And this is the Ole Miss Rebels. A lot of this is about Trinidad Chambliss coming back, but they also like Deuce Knight backing up Chambliss and being the heir apparent when Trinidad Chambliss is done. When it comes to roster management, it says Lane Kiffin's dramatic departure to a rival school did not damage Ole Miss as much as originally feared. The Rebels retained Chambliss, Doak Walk Award finalist Kejuan Lacey, dynamic linebacker son Taryn Perkins, and several other valuable interior linemen. They also picked up Luke Farrelly at linebacker, Jay Crawford, Sharief Dotson, Joel Aguero, and Edwin Joseph at defensive backfield. And though Uman Mielen and TJ Dottery followed Kiffin to LSU, talented receiver Caden Lee went to Missouri, and Sean Womack went to Auburn. Ole Miss's 2026 recruiting class fell just outside the national top 25, and the 2027 class already has 4 top 300 commitments. They like the way that Pete Golding is recruiting. They got Ole Miss at number 12, and that's an interesting hot button topic. Like, what is Ole Miss going to do post Kiffin? I think everyone feels pretty good about him this year. You still got Chambliss, you still got Lacey, you still got some of the guys that made that team go last year, and they got the most important position, which is quarterback. So Ole Miss is number 12, and Tennessee is number 18 on this list. LSU will travel to Knoxville. Now, I've told you all offseason that Clemson has been disrespected by all of these national outlets, and they have. People don't feel good about Clemson moving forward. In this metric, over the next 2 years, they've got Clemson at number 22. That is next on LSU's schedule. So you're looking at, on LSU's schedule, coming to Death Valley, Texas number 3, Bama number 10, A&M number 9, sorry I missed that, and Clemson number 22. 4 of the top 22 in the country coming to Tiger Stadium. Also, road games to number 12 and number 18. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of the top 25 are on LSU's schedule this year. That's tough. Now, the flip side of that is that your last 4 league games are outside the top 40. At Auburn, 42. At Kentucky, 47. Mississippi State in Tiger Stadium, that's 52. And at Arkansas, that is 61 with a new coach. There are only 68 teams in the Power 5. They think Arkansas is worse than all but 7 of them. So if you look at this, yeah, you play some really good teams, but the top 3 are in Tiger Stadium. You do have 4 SEC games that essentially look like must-wins if you're going to make a push at this thing and try to get to the college football playoff. You must beat Auburn on the road. You must beat Kentucky on the road. You must beat Mississippi State in Tiger Stadium. You must go to Arkansas and win. Those are non-negotiables. You have to win those 4 games. Because if you lose one of those 4 games, you're going to have to run the gauntlet of Texas, Texas A&M, Bama, Ole Miss, Clemson, and Tennessee at least 6-1. So, or 5-1. Sorry, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5-1. So that's a tall task. You start to look at the schedule, and it's really difficult. But if you can go run the table on Auburn, Kentucky, Mississippi State, and Arkansas, and 3 of those games are on the road, but if you can run the table in those games, it gets more palatable because you feel like, as tough as the schedule is, you can go 4-2 in the other ones, and you're just fine. I realize Vanderbilt got left out this past year. I know that 10-2 is no longer a slam dunk to get in like we thought it was this time last year. but you're not getting to 10-2 if you can't beat those 4 teams at the bottom. And it's going to be hard to get to 10-2 playing all these really good teams at the top. But the good news for you is Texas is going to have to deal with Tiger Stadium. A&M's going to have to deal with Tiger Stadium. Bama's going to have to deal with Tiger Stadium. And Clemson's going to have to deal with Tiger Stadium. And I'm well aware of what happened in Tiger Stadium last year when A&M came to town. Saw it with my own 2 eyes. I know it can be done. It's not done very often. So we'll see how all that shakes out. Any way you slice it, this is a monster schedule for LSU, a monster opportunity. And LSU will be among the most interesting teams in college football this year because of its own soap opera and the schedule that is in front of it, which is extremely daunting if you look at it. You can read the story up there at ESPN.com. Goes through the entire top 68 in the Power 4. LSU comes in at number 8, which is a pretty solid spot to be in. If you're the Tigers, that is firmly a playoff team if you do finish 8th in the country. Let's hope that is the case. Our Tuesday shows brought to you by Immense Network Cloud IT Management. Sharief, Ishaq in 15 minutes. Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
You want to take some hacks? You may not want to take some hacks, but maybe your kids do. If you got a youth baseball player or 3, youth softball player or 2 under your roof, they're looking for something to do this summer. It's 1,000 degrees. It rains every day at 3 o'clock. Can't get practice in the way we want to. Well, you can at the Hitter's House at Marucci. If you become a member of the Hitter's House at Marucci, you get a key card. That comes with 24/7 access to the cages and the facilities over at the Hitter's House at Marucci. So you can get your swings in at 6 a.m. You can get your swings in at lunch. You can get your swings in after dinner if you want to. It's all available to you over at the Hitter's House at Marucci. Go by and see them or check them out online, maruccisports.com, and become a member of the Hitter's House so that your kid or you can take some hacks whenever it is that opportunity presents itself. It's all there at the Hitter's House at Marucci.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
I'm telling you, my friends at Immense Networks, Cloud IT Management, if your IT department just feels overworked, you feel like there's constant issues, he, she, they are running around trying to put out fires constantly all day. You got employees that are frustrated because their computer's frozen or somebody clicked on this and now this part's not working and this laptop's not functioning, and you just feel like there's constant trouble. Well, Immense Networks Cloud IT Management can help with that. They're not trying to replace your in-house IT department. They're there to assist, to be proactive, to monitor things 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, to make sure that things are running smoothly, to get out in front of issues as they can happen. So if maybe you're just understaffed from an IT perspective, contact Immense Networks. They're happy to help you out with that. If you've got a third party that just doesn't seem to be doing the job, you can't get a hold of them, the call center's all clogged up, and if you do submit a ticket, it takes forever for them to get back to you. This probably sounds familiar to some of you. Immense Networks Cloud IT Management can help you with that. They are small enough to have that personal touch, to be in contact with you daily. They're also big enough to handle big business, and what they want to do is help you use information technology to better your business, not just put out fires all the time, but help you use technology to do your job a little bit better. Maybe you don't know what you don't know. Immense Networks Cloud IT Management can help you out with that. If you're in Baton Rouge, they can help you. If you're in South Louisiana, they can help you. They're a proactive consultant and want to partner with you, especially if you're between 50 and 100 employees. That's their sweet spot at Immense. They're online at immense.net. Check them out online, immense.net. There's a lot of chatter on the old internet that LSU is gaining on another running back commitment. Of course, over the weekend, LSU nabbed Brennan Lacey, who's a 3-star running back from Frisco, Texas. Kevin Smith, with his first commitment as running backs coach at LSU, brings the Frisco, Texas native into the fold. And it sounds like they've got a really good chance to land Trey Segura, Trey Segura is big physical back who is from South Carolina, and LSU brought in for a visit, and they feel like there's a really good chance they could get him. And I think that's great. I think Kevin Smith identifying the guys that he wants is awesome. Nobody even heard of Kejuan Lacey last year at this time, and he became the best running back in the country They've done great things with Quinshon Judkins in Oxford, and like they've churned out some really good running backs that weren't 5-star recruits. So if Kevin Smith identifies somebody he wants to bring into the fold, I support that. I think he's done an awesome job at his stops as a running backs coach, and that's great. But what I am interested in, and this is really apropos of nothing, it doesn't mean a whole heck of a lot. It's just something I noticed that I find interesting, is that neither Lacey, a Texas native, nor Segara, a South Carolina native, is from Louisiana, obviously. And that's a position at running back that LSU has been so Louisiana heavy. It has been unbelievable. I promise, like I do a lot of prep before the show. I did not prep this before the show. In the break, I just wrote these names down. Harlem Berry, John Emery, Ty Davis Price, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Nick Brissett, Jeremy Hill, Leonard Fournette, Darius Geis, Kenny Hilliard, Alfred Blue, Jacob Hester, Keelan Williams, Charles Scott. Like, need I go any further? I just went back to 2005. And I didn't name every running back LSU's had. Yep, Spencer Ware had an awesome career. He was not from here. Caden Durham's on the roster right now. Now from Louisiana. Joseph Fadai was a stud from Texas. They've certainly had backs that weren't from right here. But they've had a ton that were from right here. And for LSU to immediately go outside the state for your first two running back commitments, I found interesting. Now, it's not like they chose Trey Segara and Brennan Lacey over some top 5 player in the nation, 5-star out of New Orleans that they just neglected. These are just the guys they identified. And look, Trey Martin is from Franklin Parish. He's a 4-star. He's one of the best backs in the country, and LSU is heavily recruiting him for this class. So it's certainly not to suggest that LSU is just abandoning its Louisiana roots at running back. But no position has been as Louisiana heavy as running back at LSU. They've had a lot of Louisiana wide receivers, Landry, Chase, Thomas, Neighbors. Like, you get the point. Like Jefferson, Beckham, like a lot of those guys are from Louisiana too. A lot of the team's been from Louisiana over the years. But running back has been one where you just feel like under every circumstance, you can dip into Louisiana, grab a 4-star, top 15 back in the country, plug him in at LSU, throw the gold helmet on, and get 800 yards and 7 touchdowns out of him. Maybe get 1,600 yards and 18 touchdowns out of him if it's the case of Darius Geis or Leonard Fournette or Jeremy Hill. But it just I noticed it. I was like, oh, that guy's not from Louisiana. That guy's not from Louisiana. And again, we saw Lane Kiffin and Kevin Smith making the rounds when recruiting season was in full gear, and they were eating boudin over in Scott, and they were on social media, and they were doing things in Louisiana. And I don't think for 1 second that LSU is neglecting the home state, but it's a spot on the roster that has just churned through Louisiana guys headed for 1,000-yard seasons in the NFL over time. And I anticipate that will continue to happen. And look, Harlem Berry may be the lead back on this team. And he is very much from Louisiana, very much from New Orleans, and very much a guy that LSU recruited for 3 years before he ever showed up here. And I'm hopeful that he's everything we thought he would be. But there's a chance Dylan Jones is the lead back on this team. Caden Durham's going to get carries on this team. You brought in 3 transfer running backs in the portal that are not from Louisiana. So it's just a little bit of a different time where you're going to go get guys from out of state, especially with Kevin Smith's national connections and his national name recognition, and the fact that he's not Frank Wilson, who was always going to go to Louisiana first. Right, wrong, or indifferent, that's just the way it was, right? We saw it. We watched it. I just rattled through 20 years of players that were all from Louisiana at the same position who were lead backs at one time or another for LSU. I didn't even mention Alfred Blue. Well, yeah, he was on that list. That team in 11 that just rolled through those backs. It was where to start. And I didn't mention Michael Ford on this list, who's from Leesville. But it was Michael Ford, Kenny Hilliard, Alfred Blue, Spencer Ware just coming at you. And then with the Hester team, it was Hester, Louisiana. It was Charles Scott, Louisiana, Keelan Williams, Louisiana, Trenton Holiday, Louisiana. You got Stephen Ridley from right over across in Mississippi over there in Vicksburg. But close. If you hear Stephen Ridley talk, you would think he's from Louisiana. But it's just been a very local position at LSU over the years. Of course, the legends like Kevin Falk is a Louisiana guy. Billy Cannon is a Louisiana guy. But it's not in the case of Brennan Lacey, and it's not in the case if they are able to land Trey Segura. And maybe Trey Martin does jump in the boat from Lincoln Parish, and that's your Louisiana guy for this class. But it's just that's a position. I'll get Hester's thoughts on this maybe on tomorrow's OTB, that it's just Louisiana for some reason hasn't been awesome with offensive linemen, hasn't been awesome with defensive linemen, and hasn't been awesome at quarterback over the years. But, man, DBs, got them. Running backs, got them. Receivers, got them. Like you have been able to milk that honey hole for all it's worth. And I anticipate this staff will continue to do that. It's just something that caught my mind. And look, I watched the highlight tapes of Brennan Lacey. I like what he's about. I watched the highlight tapes of Trey Segura. He looks like a dude. He's a big physical guy. One thing I like about the highlights, because you can see how big he is at some of the up close all 22 shots that zoom in right behind the quarterback. He's big and physical. He also outruns everybody on the field, which I always like. And I think that Kevin Smith's going to do a really good job at running backs coach. Like I told y'all when it happened, I'm not going to back off of it. I told y'all what I thought. I thought that keeping Frank Wilson on staff would be a positive thing for LSU football. I did not think Frank Wilson leaving the staff would decimate LSU football. I think you can suggest both of those to be true. I like a guy who's got deep relationships in New Orleans. I think you can move on without him. They moved on without him. I think Kevin Smith is a great running backs coach, and I loved what I saw from him at practice in the spring. I thought he was hands-on. I thought he was demanding. I thought he was detail-oriented. I thought that the players responded to him, and I think that he is making guys improve, and I think he'll be really good at recruiting as well. We talked to some of the players during spring ball about his coaching style, and they all really like him, and he did a great job at Ole Miss, obviously. Kejuan Lacey's a superstar. So I'm optimistic about that. I just find it interesting that they've managed to go outside the state for one running back commit to this point, and looks like they're beating down the door of another one at this point, and we'll update you as that happens. But a lot of folks are putting in their recruiting prediction machine picks in for Trey Segura to leave the state of South Carolina, where he's been looking at Clemson, looking at South Carolina, looking at Tennessee, to come down to LSU to be a tailback in this offense. And see a situation next year where you've got a lot of guys in that room and only one or two from Louisiana. That's been a rarity in this state at that position at this school over the course of the last 3 decades. So just a thought on some running back recruiting there at LSU. We're brought to you by Immense Networks Cloud IT Management. When we come back, Sharief, Ishaq, WDSU, talking Saints. That's next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
First American Bank and Trust, FABT.com. FABT.com is the website, but you don't need to go to the website. You can. You don't need to. Stop in a branch. If you're in Southeast Louisiana listening to us, which is a lot of y'all, then go see them. Down the bayou, they're there. Lafourche Parish, Terrebonne Parish, Lafourche, St. John, St. James. If you're up I-12, they're there. In St. Tammany, Tangipahoa, if you're over in Metairie, they're there. Just outside Baton Rouge, Dutchtown, Jones Creek, they're there. They're a community bank, part of the fabric of our communities in Southeast Louisiana. And I say that seriously. They've been at this since 1910. That's 116 years. They've got the resources to help you with your commercial loan, with your personal loan. They've also got that personal touch that comes with the community bank. That's why you do business with someone local. First American Bank and Trust. They're online at FABT.com. But go see them. It's First American Bank and Trust.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Tuesday show is always brought to you by Immense Networks Cloud IT Management. Always talking Saints, bottom of hour 2 on Tuesdays. To do that, we bring in Sharief Ishaq from WDSU down in New Orleans. Joins us now on the Jim's Firearms Hotline. Sharief, how we doing?
Doing well, man. Hope you're doing well as yourself.
I am. I'm trying to make it through without the Tigers in the College World Series, but we've known that for 3 weeks, so my ability to catch up emotionally just needs some work, I think.
I know the feeling, man. Every other year. I'm good with it every other year.
That'll work. If they win it every other year, I'll be just fine. So we'll see if they can make that happen. The Saints haven't won it since 2009, so we need to work on that at this point. So let's talk about the black and gold. I haven't gotten your thoughts yet on the Alvin Kamara pop in and kind of what that may mean. Any scuttlebutt that's broken out of it last week since that happened. What do you think?
I think he wanted to show them that, look, I want to be part of this organization, my final year of the contract, and I want to fulfill whatever I can do for the team. I told you a couple of weeks ago they want to make sure that if he's coming back to this team, that he's going to be a good leader, that he's going to fit in, he's going to help the young players, and not do anything out of characteristic and try to spearhead any kind of like, oh, we don't like this guy, that guy. Just want to make sure that this is going to be a good fit for him in his final year, and it's going to make sure it helps out the younger guys. So I think he wanted to show, look, I'm here. I'm under contract. That's like he said, whatever else happens, that's up to Mickey. I mean, he said he had not talked to Mickey, and he says he doesn't really do all that. That's on his agent. But from the sounds of it, Hunt, he's going to be there. Now the question is, do they rework his contract? And in my opinion, I don't think they need to do that. There's no need to kick the can down the road on the final year of a contract. Just let it play out the way it is. You're under the salary cap. He can help you in a way. You can line him up in the slot. You can line him up on, first and second down. Passing downs, I know it can be a little dicey because his run blocking isn't great, but there's a way to use him, at his age and for this offense and the way Kellen Moore runs this offense. So, you know what? There's no need to mess with the contract. Leave it as is. Don't kick the can down the road anymore.
All right, let's make this really open-ended, and I want to take away contract situations. I want to take away rumors off the field. I just want to talk about the Saints scoring points on offense. How do you think they best do that with HN, Kamara, Devin Neal, Autry Estime, Kendre Miller? You're not carrying 5 running backs on a roster. So what's the best football remedy, like recipe for the Saints at running back if you take contracts out of the equation?
Just for this year or
for this
forward?
year? For this year.
This year? Okay, well, Achane is your number 1. No doubt about it. Alvin's on your roster. He's the number 2, and he has to play that number 2 role like he has done in the past whenever he was younger. And he says he's okay with that. So that's it. Devin Neal is your number 3. Then you figure out if you want to keep a 4th running back. And as you know, Hunt, this team gets beat up. They need depth. So if it were me, I'm picking Estime. That is just me. And I think you can roll with those 4 guys. And I think you can find a way to use 1 and 2 on the field at the same time because both of those guys can spread the defense and make them work really hard. I think that look, you could run 3 running backs out there and have Estime as your power back and have the other 2 guys somehow line up in the slot or have one of them line up in the backfield and go out and run a wheel route. There's a way to use all 3 of your top 3 backs. Or Devin Neal. It doesn't matter. You can find a way to spread this workload out with all 4 guys that you keep on this roster because I still think that there's a way to make it work with this running back room, especially Kamara. I know he's going to be 31 coming up here next month. There's a way to make it work, man. There's a way to still get some use out of him in terms of being a receiver and just minimizing his carries. Don't put him in a bad spot where he has to block. And Achane, I think he's just so elusive and so dynamic that you can use him in both. Devin Neal the same way, and you get your power back with Estime. So there's a way to go forward with this offense this year with those 4 running backs if they are the running backs they pick. I think that's the way they should do it because they wanted guys who are versatile, and they got versatile running backs now. So I think it works. It works in today's NFL. That's the direction they're moving in. And if you want to run a pace, up-tempo type of offense, I mean, those are your running backs that can do it. And I think to me, that's how you get it done. You want to make sure that they can catch passes out of the backfield. They can catch passes in the slot. They can put so much pressure on defenses, which I think they can. So right now they're in good shape. They're in good shape if they keep 4 of those 5 running backs and moving forward.
That did not mention Kendre Miller. We know that he got hurt again last year. The best availability is availability. The best ability is availability, they say. Kendre Miller's got about none of that. So do you think that his time in New Orleans is coming to an end?
I think it's going to be a fight. It's going to be a fight for him because he was playing well last year until he got hurt. But yeah, as we say, like you just said, he has to be on the field. You got to continue to be on the field, and he has just had a hard time staying on the field, and the guys behind them just passed him up. I mean, Neal, Estime, what Estime did to close the season proves why you should maybe have a guy like him on your roster and not buried as, a practice squad guy. So I'm thinking he's going to be fighting for his roster spot this year during training camp.
And so with all that said, personnel-wise, do you feel the Saints will be significantly improved running the ball this year with the retooled and reworked running back room, as well as a new left guard and older tackles and a healthy center?
I 100% do. I truly do. And I like the fact that they got Jeremiah Wright, too, an addition there, and they got, David Edwards, as you said. But, yeah, I do. I really do, because I think of it this way, Hunt, because Tyler Shuck didn't come in until November when they played the Rams on the road. He started to get his footing to close the season, so I think he gets better during the off season. And now you have him almost a one full year between the time he has to start until like he takes over in September. That's 10 months. So I think it's going to be in a better position for the franchise, and as well as Tyler Shuck, as well as the running game, as well as the entire offense. So yeah, I do. I truly do think the running game is going to be better because everyone else around, Tyler Shuck and the running backs are going to be better. So just my opinion, I think it's really hard to go down from the number 28 rushing offense in the NFL. I mean, you could go to 30, 32, 9 rushing touchdowns, which was second to last, tied for second to last in the NFL. I don't even think they can go up from there. Truly. I mean, it's cliche. I think they could be middle of the pack. They could definitely be middle of the pack, top 15 rushing offense.
And here's the question that is got to be finessed: is you've got a quarterback that can run, but how many hits do you want him to take? That's the question. So how involved do you think Tyler Shuck is in making this running game go?
I think it's going to be the whole, look, man, if you're going to run, just protect yourself. Don't take any big hits. If you see the lane, like you did in Tampa Bay when you had that touchdown, take it. If you see any other kind of running lanes, take it. Just make sure you're just doing it properly and not getting crushed. We need you as our quarterback. I think it's the third or fourth choice for him. But if it's there, why not? Take off and get you like your 7, 8, 9 yards. I like that idea. Now, let's see what happens when people play spy on him. That's going to be the real question. Will he try outrunning somebody who's a fast running back, a linebacker? So, yeah, I'm good with it. You need to equate that into the running back running situation for the Saints. He needs to be a running quarterback at times, but don't overuse it. Don't get him beat up, because then you're going to be in a bad situation. He gets hurt, gets dinged up. So I think that you make his running ability a third or fourth option, with first being one of those other guys, second being a pass, and then maybe running third or fourth option there. So I like the way it sets up in terms of the entire running situation as we sit here on June 9th.
We spent a bunch of time in our first hour today talking about the Saints offense and talking about the expectation from ESPN.com as one of the 7 or 8 worst offenses in the NFL. They were that most of the year last year. How confident are you that they are not going to be that this year?
I'm just looking at the way it was trending. Like, everyone wants them to win 10, 11 games. You're seeing the hype. I'm here to be realistic.
Okay.
I'm just being honest here. I told you I'd be a little bit realistic. Last year I picked them to go 5-12. They went 6-11. I think they got to continue that trend upward. So if they go 8-9 or even 9-8, that's great. No one is expecting you to make the playoffs in year 2 under Kellen Moore as you continue to rebuild this entire team. No one's expecting that. But if you sneak in with a 9-8 record like the Carolina Panthers did last year by winning the division, that's the cherry on top. And then you go into 2027 with all the cap space and another good draft, and watch out, you become a double-digit win team. I'm just being the realistic person there. 7.5 in Vegas, 8 wins sounds about right for right now. 8, maybe 9. And there's nothing wrong with that, Hunt. People who want the 10 to 12 wins this year, that's just being a fan at that point. You just got to look at it from your realistic standpoint.
Anything of note from OTAs, from press conferences you picked up over the last week since we last talked?
Nothing, man. I mean, as I was walking out, I remember walking out of that practice last Wednesday, and I was looking for Oscar Delp, and he was there, but he did not do anything. He was watching. Yeah. So that's promising. At least he was maybe He's probably rehabbing throughout the last week. It feels like he tweaked something, whether it's a hamstring, a calf, or something, whenever he pulled up on that last play of the first OTAs we watched. So nothing crazy. I mean, Ishaq continues to look sharp with all the new weapons. I mean, let's see how much more chemistry he can build. That's all I'm really looking forward to, is how much chemistry he can build with the guys, they put out there in the field, to help him out and continue to develop and continue to grow in this offense. I mean, that's about it. That's all you can see in this last OTAs. Next week's a little different story when they have mandatory minicamp Tuesday and Wednesday.
Looking forward to it. We'll talk to you then.
All right. See you
He is Sharief, Ishaq, WDSU down in New Orleans. Always good to give us our Saints update from the Big Easy. We got one segment left. We'll come back and close it out next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
The Highland Insurance Group, they're online at highlandig.com. That's highlandig.com. Do you know about captives? If you're a sizable business, you pay a substantial amount in premiums every single year for your insurance. You've got great loss history. You don't file significant claims. Your risk management's good. You may be a fit for a captive. And if that's the case, and your broker hasn't showed you that, well, that may be an issue. The Highland Insurance Group handles captives every single day. So if you're looking for a game changer for the bottom line on your insurance costs, contact the Highland Insurance Group at highlandig.com and say, hey, I'd like to talk about a captive. Heard about it on Hunt's show. What can you tell me? They'll have that sit down. Now, you got to be a fit. You've got to have the premium that meets the standard. You've got to have the loss history that meets the standard. You've got to have a risk management department in-house that makes sure you're keeping things safe. But if you do fit, it could be a complete game changer to your bottom line annually when it comes to insurance costs. So contact Jonathan Carbo and his team at the Howard Insurance Group and look into a captive. Could be a game changer for you. It's the Howard Insurance Group based right here in Baton Rouge. They can help you out statewide. It's the Howard Insurance Group online at highlandig.com.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
It is road trip season in the summer. Maybe you're headed to the beach. Maybe you're headed to see the grandparents. Maybe headed to travel baseball. Maybe you're headed up to the Tennessee mountains. Wherever you're headed in the car with the family, if you need a new ride, Fabry Chevrolet GMC is happy to help you out with that. Got incredible deals on Chevy Silverados and GMC Sierras from a truck perspective. They got your SUVs covered as well. Chevy Suburbans, Tahoes. Also got the GMC Yukon, Denali's. If you're looking for new, looking for pre-owned, they've got it all at FabryChevrolet.com. Go to the website. You can sort by make and model. If you know exactly what you're looking for, you can sort by mileage. You can sort new or used. You can sort by price as well. No matter what you're looking for, they can help you. It's an incredibly user-friendly website, and the experience is only better when you go to Highway 61 in St. Francisville and set foot on the lot and let them help you get behind the car that you're looking for. The Fabry family has been in business for 35 years here in Baton Rouge. They've built their reputation on quality customer service because they deliver that each and every time. So go by and see them, Highway 61 in St. Francisville. Get behind the wheel of that new or pre-owned vehicle for your summer road trip. It's Fabry Chevrolet GMC online, FabryChevrolet.com. All right, the news of the Southeastern Conference today, South Carolina reaching an agreement with former Coastal Carolina head coach Kevin Schnall. He will be the new head coach of the Gamecocks. Of course, you recall Kevin Schnall last year. The last time you saw him, he was getting ejected from Game 2 of the College World Series final on that Sunday in Omaha. I still could not believe my eyes from the press box when I watched that happen. Y'all by now know my feelings on ejections very good and well, and I'm well aware that all of you say, hey, can't argue balls and strikes. You throw them out of the game. Can't have it. That's what you'll say. I'll say don't throw people out of the College World Series final. Just don't listen to him argue balls and strikes. Or if he argues balls and strikes and says, you're a blankety blank blank, call it better, turn around and say, shut up, I'm doing my job, and go sit in the dugout. Just don't throw him out of the game. That's what I would do. I'm clearly in the minority. Everybody else wants to throw everybody out. We cannot pimp home runs. We cannot throw bats in the air. We can't argue balls and strikes. We're throwing everybody out. That's the last time we saw Kevin Schnall. But Kevin Schnall has done a really good job at Coastal Carolina. They were injury-riddled this year. They lost Cam Flukie, for an extended period of time. Y'all saw how good he was. He was Coastal's pitcher in Game 1 of that championship series against Cade Anderson. It took Cade throwing a shutout over 9 innings for LSU to win that game. They've had some really solid players there, and he'll have an opportunity to move up in the world. He'll increase his pay probably by 100%, maybe 150% from what he's making at Coastal. I believe he's at $500K at Coastal. You're probably talking about $1.5 million at South Carolina, and I think it's a good hire. He's a little rough around the edges. There's no question about that, but he's passionate. He's a good baseball dude, so I'm sure that will go better than what than what they've done the last couple of years. But my lasting memory of Kevin Schnall until otherwise is him getting tossed in the first inning of Game 2 of the College World Series final. Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Today's hottest stories in sports, news, and sometimes even Hunt's life. The question is, will he take them or leave them?
All right, so a Texas court has scheduled Texas Tech quarterback Brendan Sorsby's trial against the NCAA for February 8th of 2027, 2 weeks after the college football playoffs national championship. So going to trial after playing the whole season, take it or leave it.
I'm going to leave that one. Is there any common sense anywhere in the world? No one knows how to function in society anymore. We've just completely lost the plot.
Yep.
We are having a hearing on his eligibility after his eligibility is over?
Yes.
How is this a thing? This is the system that runs the laws in our country?
Yep.
And we are scheduling this after it's over? Then just say we can't have a trial. We can't do it fast enough. There's no trial.
Yep.
He's eligible. Because what are you going to accomplish on the 8th of February? Like, there's nothing you can't do anything. How is this the world we live in? I'm blown away every day. Every day I'm blown away at more stupidity. And this is our court system.
Yep.
Supposed to run the show around here. Can't do it.
And that's why I had to lead off for taking a leave with that one.
Great.
So
Awesome.
A.J. Brown made sure the Philadelphia Eagles remember him as he left the facility following the New England Patriots trade. As Brown was saying farewell to his now former teammates and coaches, he signed a picture of himself that the Eagles put up of all the Pro Bowl players with the message, "Best to ever play here, always open." So is A.J. Brown throwing shots on his way out? Take it or leave it?
I'll leave it. I mean, I think he's just saying I'm the best ever. Like, who's the best Eagles receiver of all time? I mean, T.O. played with a broken leg.
Yeah. I'm not an Eagles historian, so I couldn't tell you all the Eagles history.
I don't.
Other than T.O.
Yeah, I'm struggling with.
It ain't Alshon Jeffrey.
I had Alshon Jeffrey on my fantasy team like 100 years in a row. It's like a running joke in my because he always had like 8 catches every Sunday. Oh, no, he didn't score a lot of touchdowns. He wasn't making like 80-yard catches, but he was getting me 8 catches for 70 yards every Sunday.
PPR.
That's what I was taking. Yeah, I don't have a great answer for best Eagles receiver of all time.
No idea other than T.O.
Maybe it's A.J. Brown.
It might be because he went all pro, I think, 3 or 4 times already. So with the Eagles. So the Knicks lost last night, but that's not the real story.
Who called that?
You did. Hey, you definitely called that. Everybody was on the Spurs. Well, no, they was on the Knicks. You was on the Spurs last night. So the Knicks lost, and the Spurs fans that traveled to the Garden were getting attacked by an angry mob of Knicks fans outside of the arena after the game. So is New York a bad sports town? Take it or leave it.
I'll leave it. It's a great sports town, but it's gonna be rough. It's gonna be a rough group of dudes. And that's just the way it is. You're gonna see that in Philly.
Yep.
You're gonna see that in New York. It just is what it is. You're not catching that in Los Angeles.
No,
You're not catching that in Miami.
Nope.
But you're gonna catch that in New York and Philly. You're not getting that in St. Louis.
Not even close.
You're really probably not getting it in Chicago. Although I do think there are Saints fans that didn't have a great experience at the NFC
What if you have Packers
Championship
clothes
game.
on though?
Then you might be catching some.
Okay.
Like I don't think that Cubs, White Sox, Bears, Blackhawks fans have a reputation of getting too over the
Packers,
top.
like the Brewers
Packers
or something.
But,
how you feel about the Brewers?
Philly. Yeah, exactly. Philly and New York. It's going to be a little rough. I mean, you go out to bleachers at Yankee Stadium. It's going to be a little rough out there.
And you know what? It's funny we say that because I kind of see the same way when LSU plays Ole Miss. You can't catch me wearing anything LSU in Oxford that way. There's just no way. There's no way. Something's going to happen.
Those guys, they put chandeliers up and they're not doing anything. Like, I'm not going to pick a fight.
God bless.
I'm an undefeated 0-0 in fights all time. And look, I'm not going to get in a fight. Nobody in Ole Miss is picking a fight. They'll get drunk and they don't like Lane Kiffin, but they're not going to fight you. Unless you just act like an idiot.
Oh, they're going to be acting up. That's it for taking
This is a whole new tangent. I got like 20 seconds here, but like, you know what I don't like is the person who says, "Oh, Arkansas fans are the worst. They get and
Yeah.
LSU fans are the worst. Oh, the Tennessee. No, you just ran into the wrong one. Everybody's got terrible people. Everybody's got really nice people.
That's facts.
Where did you walk? Did you walk next to the drunk moron who was looking for a fight, or did you not walk next to the tailgate of the well-to-do people who invited you in for a beer? Is what it is. That's it for us here on this Tuesday. See you at Court the Table tonight.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
We had an awesome time yesterday at Swing Easy Golf Club in Baton Rouge. You can catch it on our social media channels. Had a little one-on-one match on the front nine at Pebble Beach for a spot in Swing Easy Golf Clubs for their league. And it was really fun. Had Brady out, had Chris out. Chris edged him by, I think, 3 shots in the end. But it was a ton of fun to get out there and hit some golf shots and compete. If you want to get into the league over at Swing Easy, become a member, you can do that. If you just want to stop by, hit some golf shots. I played 8 holes at Cypress Point yesterday before everybody showed up. First 6 were pars. Then we went double-double. So we didn't like that. But it's a great time, and it's a great place to work on your game independent of the weather conditions. The simulator is incredibly accurate. I find it to be incredibly helpful with your game. Chris yesterday was hitting the ball on the heel of the driver time and time again. I showed it to him on the slow-mo right there at the impact spot right above his head. And he was like, oh, that really helps, and ended up straightening that thing out. So go see him on Segan at Perkins. It's Swing Easy Golf Club in Baton Rouge.